Jordan Berry was first. Who will be the next Minnesota Viking cut? Welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I am Lupagus, and the Minnesota Vikings surprisingly cut Jordan Berry, going with an undrafted rookie for their punter this season. Who are some other Minnesota Vikings who could be surprising cuts? We're going to talk about that right now. Before we do, remember this video is brought to you by Lift Bridge Brewing Company. Hit them up at the beautiful facility in Stillwater, Minnesota, or look for their beer in your local liquor store. It's all across the state, into the Dakotas, into Wisconsin, into Iowa. So yes, hit up Lift Bridge, say hi to them on Twitter as well. And there's still time to drop hashtag 7500 in the comments. We have not yet drawn. We were going to try to draw that yesterday, didn't get around to it. Hashtag 7500 for your chance to win a version of Madden of your choice. All right, so Minnesota Vikings cut Jordan Berry, their punter from last year who had a good year, and go with undrafted Ryan Wright. Onebar did a video on that yesterday. So we got us thinking, who's going to be next? Who's going to be the next surprising cut the Vikings could make? Or who are some guys who could be surprising cuts? So we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. And let's start with the guy who's been blowing up the entire preseason camp, the games. He's got 3.5 sacks on the preseason. It's T.Y. Mcgill. And yes, T.Y. Mcgill has done everything he can possibly do to earn a spot on this team. He's just destroying any opposing lineman he's going against. Explosive get off on the football, closing in quickly, collapsing pockets, creating pressure, and getting home, making the sack, finishing the plays. T.Y. Mcgill definitely has earned a spot on this team, but the problem is, I mean, this guy is an 8-year veteran in the league. He's jumped around. I think the Vikings are his 5th team. So he really is. He's a crusty veteran, and just because he's blowing up the preseason does not mean he is a lock to make this team. The Vikings could easily go with a young guy instead. Maybe if it comes down to T.Y. Mcgill and Jalen Twyman, maybe they go with Jalen Twyman. T.Y. Mcgill and Asezi Atumweo, maybe they choose to keep Asezi. Again, T.Y., I hope he makes this team. I want him to make the team. He's earned this team. But just because he's having a great preseason does not make him a lock to make it. Remember, he is going against second stringers out there. But, again, so I think if he's cut at this point, it would be a surprise. You would have said that 2 months ago. I think everybody thought he'd be cut. Let's go with another guy, wide receiver B.C. Johnson. This one seems to kind of be on the fence, depending who you talk to. Some believe B.C. Johnson's a lock to make the team. Others think he will be let go. I mean, B.C., what is he? He's not an overly fast receiver, but he's a smooth route runner, good hands. He's got experience, got a history with Kirk Cousins. So I think he adds value to this team. So if he's shocked, in my opinion, if he's cut, in my opinion, that would be a shock. I just think, why would you not want to have someone down the depth chart with some experience? I mean, Amir Smith-Marsette's making this team. He doesn't have a ton. If they keep like a Tristan Jackson, Jalen Naylor, they don't have a lot of experience. So you got your top 3 guys who have experience, and then maybe you want one more, and I think B.C. Johnson adds that value. So if they do move on to a younger player instead of him, I do think that would be a surprise to many. Let's go with kind of a general one here. I'm going to say one of the running backs. Everybody's expecting the team to keep 5. Will they? I mean, maybe they should. Those 5 running backs are probably 5 of the best players on the team. But look at who's there. Alexander Madison, C.J. Ham, Ty Chandler. Why don't they let one of these guys go? Maybe they could try to sneak Ty Chandler on the practice squad. I think that would be kind of crazy. Alexander Madison, maybe they can go young, but if you keep him through this season, you should get a comp pick for him in next year's draft. So it makes sense to keep him. So I would keep all 5 of these. I expect them to keep everybody. But if they do cut one of them, I think it would be a shock to all Vikings fans out there. But it's definitely a possibility if they feel they need to keep somebody else at a different position over one of these backs, no matter how talented, they may make the tough decision to release one of them. And the other one, I got 2 more in the same position, but Vikings brought in 2 veteran guards here in the offseason, Chris Reed and Jesse Davis. Both have been injured. Chris Reed hasn't played a sniff, I think, since early August. He's been out, I think, some kind of a knee or leg injury, something going on there. Ashton Schlotman is a guy who I think has really kind of risen above Chris Reed now when it comes to backup center. But again, Chris Reed played well when he was with the Colts, so he's a guy who the Vikings could just come to an injury settlement with and release and just say thanks for your service and go with a Kyle Hinton or someone younger instead. And the same can be said for Jesse Davis. He's been having these off days built into his practice schedule, giving these days of rest. And then when he's out there, he's getting absolutely blown up, torn up by who he's going against when they had the joint practices with the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, literally getting knocked on his ass. I think it was Javon Kinlaw just rolled him over. So again, the Vikings may look at this and think, okay, he's a veteran. He can play tackle. He provides some versatility, but maybe he's just not very good anymore. And if he's not 100% healthy, let's keep a young guy instead. We'll see what happens. I think what happens Saturday, I mean, if Wyatt Davis and Kyle Hinton get these long extended looks, it could tip the Vikings' hand that maybe they're actually thinking about doing that. If they don't, and we see, Jesse Davis out there, then he's probably making this team. So I think they're both safe, but at the same time, I think they both could be surprise cuts of the Minnesota Vikings if they do go with the youth movement on the interior. So those are 5 guys I had who could be surprising cuts of the Minnesota Vikings to go along with Jordan Berry, who they already let go. Let me know in the comments who else you think could be a surprising cut it's this Tuesday when it all goes down, all the snipping and snapping happens. So that'll be an exciting day. And if you want to, while you're waiting for that exciting day to come, remember, keep your skull in your hole.